Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and this is day 23 of Scraptember 2022. And today I'm going to use all these goodies to document this picture of me and my children on our way to school one day. And we are all decked out in red. Today's prompt is monochrome, so I am going to be using lots of different red, and that is not my normal color to scrapbook with. I do use it, but definitely not when I do monochrome. So I'm going to use the school rules as well as this back to school by, they're both by Echo Park. And I selected these because we are wearing red for Ed, celebrating and encouraging and supporting those who work in education. So I also have this ephemera kit that goes with the school rules collection. And I've got these 3 different stamp sets. This is Paper Arts Minis. Maybe it's Paper Artsy. And then this is the Vicky Booten Sweet Rush. And I wasn't sure if I would use this Technique Tuesdays notepad paper or if I'd use this smaller one. I do end up using the smaller one. And then I have my papers, my embellishments, my inks, my stamps, my pictures. So let's see how this goes. So I pick a paper from the school rules collection because it is solid red. It's the only one that I have in the collection that's all between the two that was all red. I had one that was like covered in apples, but I really wanted this main page to be predominantly red. So I'm going to gut it so that I can use part of it to map my picture and do layering or anything like that. And I normally cut this out, so I'm sorry that I didn't. I have a feeling you all know how to gut paper, but, I'm definitely not the one to do it evenly. Oh, dear. So I am going to trim this paper down. I think I trim an inch off the top and the bottom. So it will end up being an 11 by 11. I think that's right. And so, because I want, it's monochrome. I want the red to be there. So I get this stamp, and it's got a bunch of cursive writing. And I know that it seems strange to start in the middle like this, but this is where I'm planning on putting my picture. So if it didn't stamp well or come out right, then I knew that area would be covered. But then I decided, this is me winging it, because that's the way I roll, y'all. I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, you know, I scrap on the fly for real. Like, I don't always plan unless it's like a real detailed sketch or something like that. I normally don't do a lot of planning. So I used aged mahogany first, and then I think this next one is I can't remember. Fired brick, I think. The last one is candied apple. I do know that. So I'm just filling in the white spaces with this other color. I think it's fired brick. Oh, you all. So I love the way this looks. I think it is so cool. And I'm using my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois to clean that up. And if y'all don't have something to clean your stencils or your stamps with, I highly suggest you go to Peacecraft Love and get a Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. And I love that thing. All you have to do is get it wet. It doesn't make a big old mess. It's amazing. I love it. I use it all the time when I'm using stamps, which is something I'm doing a whole lot more often. And it has come in handy. I use it frequently. And you can see it right there in the top left corner. It's just folded over. You can get the whole thing wet or you can just get a little bit of it wet. But I love that thing. So anyway, now that I've told you how much I love my stamp chamois, I got to say it slow so I say it right. I am just taking these papers to layer them up. And first I'm going to put this one down. And this one came from the school, back to school. And it was a scrap piece of paper from the other layout I did with that collection. And then this darker paper is that same background paper that I've trimmed out. And then both these little strips right here were just scraps from the back to school collection. And they match that paper I've already layered up. And I'm just going to get those on the page with some double-sided tape. I don't want them to be the same length, so I'm not even sure what I'm going to do with that. I'm just putting them there because I've got them, and I don't like wasting. So I pull this number one teacher out and put it up there, and I think, oh, okay, this looks pretty good. And then I start putting around the things that I felt would fit for the monochrome. So I know there's a little blue on this, but I'm okay with that. The predominant amount of this is red. And it's fitting because it says you can change the world. And I totally 100% believe that teachers change the world. The teachers that my kids have had have changed their world, and that's all that really matters to me. So I pull out this awesome red heart doily. I had to think about what it was called, you all. And I just tuck it in here to where you can still tell 100% that it is a heart. And so I put that in there. And then I haven't put my picture down because I'm going to use my shimmer spray and tap it out on the page. And I just didn't want to have to cover up the picture. So I figure, if I can think ahead like that, that's just lovely. So I pull out this washi tape, and this actually came from Bungalow Lane, which is Paige Evans, and it's a really fitting piece of washi because it is like a pinkish red, and I thought it would add a little something else to this layout. And so I put some down here, and then I tore a little too much off, so I decided I would take that number one teacher that I've put down up there off and put some washi down in between those two little stripes, and then put the number one teacher back. So it just gives it a little something up there. And so I just put that there, and see, it matches really well. So you could still see that washi tape. I always forget to use my washi tape, you all. I need to start trying to put it on. I'm not going to say every layout because it doesn't always work with what you're doing, but I would definitely like to get out my washi tape every time and see if I can find a way. So anyway, I tap out this, it's something about a cherry. Ugh, you all, this is what I get for cherry pie or something like that. It is a Diane Reevely shimmer spray, and I tap that out just in a couple of different places so that I have that extra red on the layout. And I find it hard to use red sometimes because when you're using splatters and sprays, it looks like blood. Now, this one did not do that because I've already got all this red on there, so it's not like it's standing out. But if there's not a bunch of red on there, then it's just kind of like, I don't know. So I used my candied apple, and it is a juicy ink pad. So the first one I put down to test it out on that white little strip of paper is so juicy that it like completely covers where it's not supposed to be red. So I do it a couple of different times, and that's the good thing about not stamping straight on your page. Plus I wanted to stamp on white to give me that background of white. So here I am trying to decide if I have enough room for that big piece of paper, and I don't. I don't know where I would put it. It would have to cover up all that gorgeous stamping I've done. I'm not doing that. So I stamp out with the candied apple that little notebook paper, and then I just kind of lightly fussy cut around it. I wasn't going to fussy cut down into the little grooves of that notebook paper. I just trimmed it out. So I get that down, and I'm going to let that dry before I start writing on it, because I'm not kidding, that candied apple is a juicy ink pad. So I pull an apple off of here. I know it's got a green stem, but I'm perfectly okay with that. I add another little apple up on here. I thought about that last big, huge apple right there, and I thought, nah, I don't feel like it needs to be on here, and there's not really any good place for it anyway. So I pull, there's 2 black stars and a red star, 2 red stars and a black star, and I pull those off and make a little cluster over here on the left. And then it was kind of like playing Where's Waldo, though. I put my little dots of glue down, and then I was like, where are they? They disappear into the page. So I look on here to see if there's anything else that I feel like I can use. And I had a cut apart, or not a cut apart, but an ephemera piece earlier that said you can change the world. And I found the sticker, and so I used the sticker instead of the cut apart. And then I pull these cool little alphas out. They're like a felt material, or maybe not felt, but they're like I don't know, they're flexible. It's not like cardstock or anything. So I've decided I'm going to title this Red for Ed, and I was going to put it all across the top, but they're too big for that. So I put red at the top, Ed at the bottom, and then I'm going to pull out a number 4. I decided to use the number over using the letters, and it's from a varsity collection of thickers, and I just stick it down here at the bottom because the black and the white up at the top goes with that number, and so I am not bringing in a new color, a new shade, or anything like that. So here is the close-up. See how cool that cursive print is? I just love that. I have no clue what any of it says, but it's really cool. And then those little dark splotches are actually that cherry shimmer spray. And I think that it'll be a little shinier in the future, but right now it's still drying when I share this with you. And I've written my journaling in here about supporting people who work in education. And that's it. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this video. And I hope that you all will go check out everybody else who's participating in Scraptimber 2022. There is a playlist at the hashtag Scraptimber 2022. So I hope to see you again really soon. Have a great day and happy scrapping.